Greetings, fellow freethinkers. The event you're about to watch was hosted by the Center for Inquiry, an educational and outreach organization dedicated to defending and promoting science, reason, secularism, and free inquiry in every area of human endeavor. My name is Justin Trottier, and as Executive Director of CFI Canada, I would like to take a moment to tell you a bit about us. CFI Canada currently incorporates CFI Communities for Inquiry in Calgary, Montreal, and Vancouver. Over 30 affiliated student organizations from coast to coast, and of course our headquarters here at the Centre for Inquiry, Ontario. CFI Ontario, located in the heart of downtown Toronto, is the first Canadian branch of CFI, and is the first dedicated event and meeting space for all humanists, skeptics, and freethinkers in the nation. Our mandate encompasses a robust public education series, campus outreach to a growing network of student freethought groups, community outreach and social services, to provide secular and humanist alternatives to religiously monopolized services and activities, and a lending library and media center that, among other things, broadcasts videos like this across the planet. To learn more, please visit us at www.cfiontario.org, to get on our email list, or to learn how you can support our movement, such as by becoming a friend of the Center, a CFI donor, a volunteer, or to launch or affiliate a new campus or local group. Contact us today at ontario@centerforinquiry.net. That's CENTER. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the video.
So, I would like to introduce Nica, who is our speaker. She wrote the book Nothing, Something to Believe In. We're taking orders for the book. If any of you would like to get one of those, you can talk to Justin or I, and we'll write your name down. Those are $15, and we will get those out to you as soon as possible if you give us your name and address and all that fun stuff. Yes, so Nica, if you'd like to come on. Everyone can read our speakers.
Okay, wow. Okay. I want to make sure everyone can hear. Well, actually, it's good when people don't do like long introductions, because I start with an introduction of myself. Then there's less redundancy. So who am I, and why did I decide to write a book about non-belief? Well, just a normal person, really. Nothing so extraordinary. I've been married for 19 and a half years. I'm the mother of Victor, who's going to be 11 next week, and Amelia, who just turned 14. I'm a PTA mom, community board member, the president of my Black Association, very exciting. And I'm also an educator. I'm a contractual teacher at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I've been working there for 9 years, both with off-site programs in the public schools, and with my favorite thing to do there is working with people with disabilities, giving tours at the museum and also going off-site. I'm a painter. I have a Master's of Fine Arts, and I've had a few shows around here and there. And I'm also now a writer, so that's like my newest little thing to do. So, just to recap, I'm not a philosopher, cosmologist, biologist, theologian, nor historian. Okay, got that out of the way. So, not so much a writer as I am a storyteller, because I think that everyone has a story, and if the story is lively and well told, and if others can relate to it and see themselves in parts of it, then it can become entertaining and maybe even illuminating. So I set out to tell a story, and I always say you have to write what you know, so what I know best is myself. And so my story is about how I do not believe in any God or follow any religion, and I never have. So why did I decide to write that particular aspect of my story? Because I could have focused on, I suppose, lots of other things. Well, what I really wanted to do was give a voice to non-believers, to people I felt did not have any voice in you know, around me. I just didn't hear the voice, at least. And it was way back before the recent spate of atheist books. It was before Harris and Dennett started it all, and before Dawkins and Hitchens threw their hats into this particular ring. You know, I didn't want to be the voice. I didn't want to be like an expert or the only atheist in the room, which here I don't have to worry about. But I just wanted to be a voice in what I hoped would be many out there. And I didn't really hear very much about people without religion at that particular time. This was, about 6 years ago, except from the religious who simply reviled or pitied those without God. So, I watch a lot of television, and it is remarkable how often religion comes up in sitcoms, for instance, which is kind of a weakness of mine. Bad sitcoms, if you must know. But it's usually treated in this really kind of weird way, like trying to get the kids to come back to, I don't know, it just didn't really relate to it that well. So I thought, well, maybe if I just tell my story, it'll sort of, maybe something can sway. So my story starts with the fact that I have a non-religious upbringing. My parents were not religious, not interested in it, and gave me no understanding of it. It was something other people did, not us. So I'm just going to read quickly a little excerpt from the second chapter, which is called Nothing. I believe that I asked my parents the big religion question because I wanted to have a first communion. I secretly hoped that they would, upon my reminding them, suddenly remember that I needed a big white dress, white gloves, shoes, and a veil. Especially the veil. I wanted that the most. I often put towels on my head to pretend that I had long hair, and the veil would be an even better hair extender for my in front of the mirror fantasies. For communion, everything was going to be white, like the wedding dresses, big billowy white dresses that my friends had in their dress-up bins, dresses that had belonged to their moms. I had seen my mother's wedding picture, and even though the picture was in black and white, I could tell that the dress she had worn was brown, two-tone brown and not a puff on it. It looked like something Laura Petrie would have worn to dust on the Dick Van Dyke Show, not at all a proper wedding dress. I wanted that white outfit. Michelle had gotten hers. We were allowed to play with the gloves and the veil, but we couldn't even touch the dress. It had to be perfect for the first communion, clean, pure, fresh. Michelle was going to carry a little bunch of flowers, too white, of course, as she marched down the aisle in the church. It was going to be better than playing wedding with our favorite boyfriend, Ted, we decided. It was going to be so much more real, in a church and everything. I knew that Michelle had to go to special classes to be able to get the dress and the bouquet and the whole thing, but I figured it wouldn't be a problem for me to catch up. If I started right away, I could learn whatever needed to be learned in a few weeks. I knew some of the stuff already, courtesy of Michelle. I knew the Lord's Prayer and the Hail Mary, and I'd even been allowed to hold her rosary. That was pretty too. I would get one like hers with pink beads and the tiny cross hanging off the end. This won't be a problem, I reasoned, because my father's Catholic. I mean, he's Italian, and Michelle's mom said that all Italian people are Catholic, and she should know because she's from Switzerland, which I know is right next to Italy. So that will make this whole plan a cinch. Dad will realize that he forgot this whole thing and that he needs to sign me up for those classes, and before you know it, I'll be on my way. Then Mom can have a party for me, too. Michelle said that some people bring presents and even money. I came home from my afternoon at Michelle's house, ready to find out the most important thing. What are we? Well, that didn't really go the way I planned, because my parents told me we were nothing. And I cried, and they gave me a bowl of chocolate ice cream. And they thought that was the end of it. Little did they know. I was afraid of this whole word nothing, because it just felt like it was so empty. Like it was really, like we were outsiders and losers and nobody would be friends with us. So I didn't really like the term. And the idea of not being anything and not being interested in it, as my family wasn't, gave me nothing to push off of. I always think of myself as like treading water in the middle of the pool. A lot of people who were raised with a religion had something to sort of reject, but I didn't even have anything to reject. I just sort of had nothing. When I was confronted with religion, I was confused, afraid, and unable to feel secure in my non-belief. So I just didn't talk about it much. And when I was confronted with it, like I went on this ski trip in high school, and it ended up being run by a Christian youth group, I shut down and felt attacked. And I also felt ignorant and ashamed. So I avoided the subject pretty well, with only minor brushes here and there. A Girl Scout troop sleepover in a creepy church. The ski trip that I mentioned, which ended up being run by a Christian youth group intent on my conversion. and a semester spent in Italy not